Armenia. In the news. UN Human Rights Council held its 44th session in Geneva from June 30 to July 17, 2020. Discussions focused on the women's rights and the rights of children, freedom of information and assembly, independence of judiciary, education, racism, discrimination, fight against trafficking, migration, eradication of poverty, human rights and digital technologies, country-specific human rights situations, and a number of other issues. Delegation of Armenia presented positions and views of the Republic of Armenia on above-mentioned issues, priorities of our country on continuous strengthening and improvement of international human rights agenda as well as Armenian government's vision on democratic reforms, further expansion of policy based on human rights and fundamental freedom. Progress registered in the areas of the fight against corruption and the rule of law has been highlighted. Armenia reiterated its unequivocal adherence to the fundamental principles of international law, noting that continuous violations of international humanitarian law are the biggest challenges for international security. Permanent Mission of Armenia noted the impact of crises triggered by COVID-19 pandemic on a number of vulnerable groups including women, children and people residing in conflict areas. Armenia specifically emphasized the role of more inclusive policies in the development of response and post-pandemic recovery efforts. Permanent Mission of Armenia reiterated support to the UNSG's call to global ceasefire and stressed that even during the COVID pandemic Armenia continues to face military provocations, intentional targeting of civilian population and infrastructure. Armenia drew the attention of international community to the details of the military attack unleashed against Armenia by Azerbaijan in July. Speaking at the discussion on the rights of the internally displaced persons, Permanent Mission of Armenia yet again underscored for HRC and UN bodies the root causes of the Nagorno-Karabakh issue, Azerbaijani policy of hatred towards Armenians which was criticized by the international structure. The rights of Armenian refugees and IDPs have been specifically underlined. In the context of protection of children in armed conflict, Armenia emphasized the adoption of the most progressive documents in the area. In June 2020, Armenia also joined the Group of Friends on Children and Armed Conflict in Geneva. Among the urgent issues of international agenda, Armenian delegation highlighted that the ruling of the Turkish court on turning Hagia Sophia into a mosque was taken in line with the rhetoric and actions of the political leadership of that country, which demonstrates the serious issues with impartiality and independence of the judiciary in that country. In the statements delivered in Human Rights Council, Armenia expressed her deep concern on continuous violations of human rights of Rohingya people. Speaking at the discussions on racism and anti-Semitism, Armenia condemned such manifestations of hate in strongest terms and stressed that genocide denial is a threat to democracy and human rights. Armenia co-sponsored a number of resolutions in the area of the elimination of discrimination against women and girls, protection of the rights of persons with disabilities, freedom of expression and access to information, fight against trafficking, climate and human rights, responsibility to protect, etc. Next session of the Human Rights Council will commence on September 14, 2020. For more information about this and other stories, please visit Armenia in the News portal.